안녕하세요. Riding on the Korean wave. Welcome to Wednesday's edition of The Culture Wave. I'm Hwan-soa in Seoul. Explore with us Korea's culture from all aspects and stay up to date with K-entertainment, K-poetry, K-environment, K-everything. And before you know, you'll be booking your flight to Korea. Now, Wednesday means we're joined by our co-host Walter Lee in the studio. Hello, Walter.
Hello, Soa, and hello, everyone at home. As always, I have plenty of K-entertainment updates just for you, so stick around for that.
And we're also joined by Arirang's news features reporter Eun-hee. Welcome, Eun-hee.
Hello, Uni.
Hello, Walter. Hello, Soa. And hello, everyone. I'm Arirang's news reporter, Eun-hee.
Eun-hee, yesterday was Earth Day because Earth Day is celebrated every April 22nd. So happy Earth Day. Happy belated Earth Day to both of you.
Happy Earth Day.
So to remember the importance of protecting our planet Earth, Eun-hee, you have a story to share with us today.
Yes, and first of all, I love your green outfit and your green tie too.
We matched it to your item today.
Yes, I appreciate it. And so today's story is, I want to start with saying these kind of special days, they deserve our attention for at least a week and throughout the week or the month. And so today I will share about how the South Korean government is supporting sustainable everyday habits which call for our attention and participation. So let's all take a closer look.
Having a picnic and enjoying food delivery, it's pure happiness, until we realize that our Earth can't sustain this convenience forever. And as more people begin to enjoy the outdoors after a long winter, starting this month, Seoul City is working to reduce single-use waste by installing return stations for reusable food delivery containers at Hangang Parks, beginning with 2 at Dukseom Hangang Park and 3 at Yeouido Hangang Park. To use the service, the reusable container option in the delivery app needs to be selected. And to return containers, simply scan the QR code on the delivery bag and drop them at the designated station. Next, these used containers are taken to the cleaning station.
Reusable containers. One concern that probably comes to mind is sterilization. Can we really trust that they're clean? Well, that's exactly what we're here to find out. Behind me, a full 7-step process ensures that each container is washed, sanitized, and inspected before making its way back to customers.
The steps include pre-washing, soaking, high-temperature washing, rinsing, drying, sterilization, disinfection, and a comprehensive inspection.
We at It's Green run the Return It service, where the containers are collected, sanitized, and returned to participating restaurants and vendors for reuse up to 300 times.
To ensure the highest standards of hygiene, ATP tests are conducted to measure organic residue and are 10 times stricter than the standard guidelines.
Since the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020, food delivery has become a regular part of life. To tackle the growing plastic waste issue, we partnered with major delivery companies in 2022 to launch a reusable container service. The service is now available in most areas of Seoul, and by next year, we plan to expand it to all of the city.
For business owners, what are the advantages and challenges of using this system?
The reusable containers are not only clean, but they also retain heat well, helping to keep the food warm during delivery. However, it would be even more practical if the containers came in a wider range of shapes and materials to better suit the food.
As more services take part in helping protect the planet, our role is just as important. By recognizing the impact of our daily choices and by participating, we can become part of the change we hope to see.
I always feel a little bad when I order food from those delivery apps because of all of the packaging remaining. So really great services, right?
I feel really bad because I actually ordered a lot of delivery and I actually wasn't aware of this sort of thing. And I think this is something that more people should know about because I think it's a great service.
It is.
Exactly, I agree. And most importantly, these kind of services about making sure that people are aware of and actually use them. So to help with that, a Seoul City official said they plan to add more informational banners throughout Hangang Parks and update bulletin boards at delivery zones with clear instructions on how to order and return reusable containers. They're also working to bring more restaurants on board.
That information really helps because I was actually planning on a picnic at Hangang Park maybe this weekend.
And I was planning on staying home. So the reusable container service isn't just for parks though, because it's also for using at home, right?
Yeah, of course. So the return process, when you order the food through the reusable containers at home is just as simple. You just need to leave the used containers out the door. And I'd also like to share the progress made so far by the government. Seoul City reported that last year, over 1.2 million reusable containers were used during more than 130 baseball games, effectively reducing single-use container consumption by about 9,210 per game. The city is now expanding the service, beginning with high-waste areas such as funeral halls, sports venues, and festivals. Additionally, a small reward is offered for using the service through delivery apps, where customers earn carbon-neutral points for each order, which can be exchanged for cash later.
I don't know if you guys remember the days when we ordered Chinese food over the phone, and not through those apps. And actually, the delivery people would come back to, we could return our jjajangmyeon bowls and plates, and they would just pick it up. And now we're going kind of back to those days. So I really like this environment-friendly shift that we're seeing, and I hope that more and more people will also help in protecting our planet Earth by using those services. So thank you very much, Annie, for that interesting coverage.
Thank you, Annie.
Thank you. It was my pleasure.
And now time for our daily dose of K-Enter News with Walter Lee. Walter, we're going to start off with two members of Blackpink, and they are doing well on the Billboard charts. I think well is an understatement. They're doing super great on the Billboard charts. Tell us more.
Yes, I mean, there are so many people. Well, there's only 4 members of the Blackpink that I could talk about, but there are 2 today we're going to talk about. That, according to the latest charts released on Tuesday, Rosé's Apart remains number 13 on the Billboard Hot 100 for the second week at its marking its 26th consecutive week on the chart, which set a new record previously actually held by another K-pop girl group, 50/50, when they reached 25 weeks with their song Cupid. Now, Apart debuted way back, I can remember, it's like back in October 8th, at number 8, at 2024, and peaked at number 3. I remember when we reported on that. Now, it was gaining widespread popularity, and I still hear it all the time whenever I go out. People are so raving about it still. But Rosé's first solo album also, Rosie, maintained its position at number 98 on the Billboard 200 mini album, so she's still having a great time at Billboard. Meanwhile, Jennie saw a boost in rankings following her solo debut performance at the Coachella Valley Music and Arts Festival on April 13th, where she wowed the crowd with a stunning set. Now, the title track of Jennie's first solo album, Like Jennie, re-entered the Hot 100 at number 96. So it went out for 1 minute and then came back. The album Ruby climbed 7 spots from the previous week to reach number 81 on the Billboard 200, so those girls are doing great.
They are, and only a few months left until the whole group reunites.
Yes.
So I can't imagine how Blackpink, the group as a whole, will also enter the charts just like that.
I'm sure they do
and
very
probably
well.
Stay for a while.
Yes.
Well, now let's move on to our next item, which is about a fun exhibition.
Yes.
And I'm sure many BTS fans around the world might be even booking their flights to Korea to see this exhibition. What's it about?
Yes, especially if your bias is J-Hope. Now, from May 30th to June 22nd, BTS's J-Hope will hold an exhibition titled And What, which will take place at the AK Plaza Hongdae in Seoul. Now, the exhibition highlights J-Hope's solo career and musical world, exploring his artistic journey through previously released songs, documentary content, and obviously his world tour. The exhibition also focuses on the firsts of J-Hope has achieved as a K-pop artist. You'll also see items personally used by J-Hope, such as his microphone, in-ear monitor, music video concept, photo outfits will also be on display. And also, we know that J-Hope kicked off his tour, Hope on the Stage, in Seoul this February, and has upcoming performances scheduled in Singapore on April 26th and 27th as well.
Well, I won't have to buy a ticket to watch this exhibition. I think I'm going to check it out.
Yes.
And now we're going to move over to something that I'm really excited about.
Yes.
It's about a rookie girl group, and you're going to also tell us why why we are especially excited about it.
Yes, we are very excited about. Now, move over kickflip, we've talked about them. Move over hearts to hearts, we've talked about them. They're very exciting. But there is another rookie girl group in town, and their name is VVS. Now, on Tuesday, a showcase was held at Ilji Arts Hall in Seoul to celebrate the release of VVS's debut single T, that's T-E-A. Now, VVS is produced by American producer Paul Brian Thompson, who has worked on songs such as with artists such as EXO, NCT, Red Velvet, Kang Daniel. Now, why does that name ring a bell here at the Culture Wave? Well, actually, the Culture Wave actually interviewed Paul not too long ago, a few weeks ago to be in fact, and gave our viewers an exclusive debut date on the new girl group, and that was yesterday that they debuted. Now, according to the sources, the group name signifies both 5VS, now there are 5 members, and also the VVS category from the GIA diamond grading system, symbolizing high-level quality and strength of a diamond, for example. So member Brittany shared her thoughts on debuting, saying, "It's exciting and nerve-wracking to mark this beginning. I want to show VVS's unique charm with the ambition of creating a new chapter in K-pop history."
Well, Paul did mention here on the Culture Wave that it took around 5 years for this group to debut, so I can't wait for what their career holds.
I'm sure it's going to be extravagant.
Well, thank you very much, Walter, for those updates, and stick around.
See you soon.
And now let's take a look at what our AI anchor Ari has for us. Ari, take it away.
Hello and welcome to your AI guide to the latest cultural updates from Korea. Here's our top story. Marking the 60th anniversary of normalizing diplomatic ties, Korea and Japan will hold reenactments of the Joseon Tongsinsa procession. Joseon Tongsinsa refers to a large group of Korean envoys sent to Japan during the Joseon dynasty. Kicking off this Thursday at Gyeonggi-gung Palace in Seoul, the reenactment will continue across Busan, Japan's Osaka, and Yokohama, before concluding in Tokyo in September. The events will feature official processions, traditional dance and music performances, as well as various cultural celebrations, including historical exhibitions. Calling it a symbol of diplomatic trust and cultural exchange between the two nations, the Culture Ministry expressed hope that the reenactment will provide an opportunity to reflect on the past and open new paths of Seoul-Tokyo cooperation. The 42nd Busan International Short Film Festival kicks off Thursday for a 6-day run at the Busan Cinema Center and BNK Busan Bank Art Cinema. This year's theme, Cinema and Sound, spotlights the artistic power of sound and film. A total of 157 films from 41 countries will be screened, including 40 in the international competition and 20 in the Korean competition. Founded in 1980, the festival is Korea's oldest short film event, dedicated to exploring short films from around the world and supporting emerging filmmakers. Jeju Island has revised its trail access policy for the popular Hallasan Mountain. Starting May 3rd, reservations will only be required for hikers heading to the summit. Under the new system, visitors can freely access the 7-kilometer stretch from Songpanak to Jindalebat and the 6-kilometer trail from Gwaneumsa to Samgakbong without booking in advance. Previously, the entire Songpanak and Gwaneumsa trails required reservations under a conservation policy introduced in 2021. But the system drew complaints from locals who face restrictions even for routine visits to mid-trail spots. The updated policy aims to improve accessibility while preserving the mountain's natural environment. The 2025 KBO League has surpassed 2 million spectators in a record-setting 118 games, the fastest pace in league history. The Korea Baseball Organization says this breaks the previous record of 126 games set in 2012. The league is also seeing a continued streak of sellouts, with 50 of the 118 games sold out so far. The KBO became the first professional sports league in Korea to surpass 10 million total spectators in a single season last year. That's all from me. Stay tuned to the Culture Wave.
We recently covered the launch into space of G-Dragon's music and an image of his iris. Today, we want to talk about poems being sent to the moon, and that includes Korean poems written in the traditional poetry form sijo. To hear more about this project, we now connect to Joyce Brinkman, the lead editor of Polaris Trilogy, which is the book of more than 100 poems that was launched to the moon. Hello, Ms. Brinkman.
Hello, Ms. Brinkman.
Hello, thank you. Nice to be here.
Thank you for joining us. So first of all, could you please introduce yourself as well as the fascinating project you are involved in?
Well, my name is Joyce Brinkman, and I am a poet myself, as well as being executive director of Brick Street Poetry, Inc., which is a not-for-profit in the U.S. that does all sorts of poetry activities and poetry programming. The thing that I'm here to talk about tonight is the very exciting thing that we've got to do, which is our Polaris Trilogy, Poems for the Moon. This is part of the Lunar Codex, which is a project of Samuel Peralta. He is a physicist and poet and artist in so many ways, who has wanted to bring together all of this art and has provided a way for lots of art to go to the moon on NASA flights.
I think the idea of sending creative works into space is so intriguing, but what exactly is being loaded on these spacecraft and how does it all work?
Well, I'm not a technical person from the standpoint, but it's something that I believe NASA has invented, and it's called Nico nanofish. So it would be a little bit like when we used to use microfiche to read things. And actually, I can't tell you where it is on this particular the launch that is now landed on the moon, and we are actually on the moon with the Polaris Trilogy and lots of other wonderful artwork. But it is, again, it's a disc, and all of this stuff is digitally on this disc, and it will be possible in the future as astronauts go to the moon to look for water, to do experiments, whatever, when they're there live. It would be possible for those people that go there, the astronauts that go there from lots of different countries, to actually read the work and to listen to the music and to access this off of this disc that has this, I would say, digital ties on this Nico nanofish, which is protected from the radiation of the moon and will be able to last for millions of years.
So I believe you mentioned that now we've successfully landed on the moon, and the mission right now is currently underway. And what are the remaining tasks that you're aware of, or what is left that you're aware of?
Well, first of all, we took the name of our anthology, our world anthology, which we were fortunate to get poems from every continent on Earth. We took the name of that from the NASA launch that we were going to go on. And it is actually the last launch in this series that NASA is doing with commercial payloads. But again, Samuel Peralta was thinking ahead, as a couple of the very first spacecraft that went didn't quite make it. And so he actually got us on this earlier flight as well. So we still are going to have a flight to the moon that is our original, because we're already packed and loaded for that flight, and we have been. But we also, again, thanks to Samuel, we also got on the Firefly Blue Ghost mission, and it was landing at one of the most friendly, if I can say that, or one of the best places to land on the moon, on the dark side of the moon, and it had a very successful landing. So we are already there, but we will also go on another mission, which was our original mission, our original flight, where we took the name Polaris because that flight was at that point called the Polaris flight. And so we will also be landing on the moon, possibly sometime later this year. Every time something sits on the launch pad a little bit longer, you kind of get pushed back. So we actually published the book on Earth here in 2023, but and we thought we were going to go up that year, but we have gotten pushed back. But now we're really pleased because we're on the moon in one place, and then we will be on another flight and be located on the moon in a different place on the moon. So I look at these as being little museums or libraries. So in this case, I see that we're going to have our Polaris trilogy in kind of two different libraries in two different towns, if you would, on the moon, two different locations on the moon. We will be our trilogy will be located with all the other wonderful things on the lunar codex.
Great to see that process.
That sounds absolutely fascinating. Now, let's bring things back down to earth for a second and talk about these poems. Now, you did say that they come from several different continents around the world, and what is the criteria for the selection of the poems exactly? As the lead editor of the Polaris trilogy, what is your main focus when it comes to these poems?
Well, first of all, we wanted them to be very representative, and we have them in the book not only in English, because it's not only, only English speaking people are going to the moon or can be part of this. So we have them in lots of different languages in the book. And in order to tell a story, I created sections in the book and then I assigned these different sections to different continents. And then you needed to use, there were 3 words for the 3 different sections. So whatever section you were assigned to, your poem had to springboard off of one of those 3 words. Didn't necessarily mean that if you were writing about the moon, it was just about the moon, but the moon would be your springboard to writing your poem. So that was kind of the first criteria. And then obviously you, as a poet, you look for how well the poem flows, the imagery, and the normal things that you would be looking for in a good poem.
Right, and Ms. Brinkman, you are a poet yourself, and also we actually heard one of those poems, the sijo by Ms. Lucy Park before. We heard it also on air, how beautiful it sounds. So let's talk a little bit about sijo. What do you think are the most important aesthetic qualities of Korean sijo, and what's your view on the Korean sentiment conveyed through this literary art?
Well, I'm a big fan of short form anyway. And so I was very pleased. I did not know about sijo. And so I was very pleased when Lucy introduced me to it. She has done several workshops for us with different groups to help other people learn about sijo. I've been so busy, I haven't had time to write any myself, but at some point I am definitely going to do that. I think one of the things that I very much admire some of the ancient Korean sijo for the history that it captures, and so I like it from that standpoint. The other neat thing about it is the compactness of it, and again the wonderful way it makes a turn at the end. It's a very accessible form, I think, for people, and yet it also, I think, teaches a lot because, as far as language is concerned, because of the way it has the structure it has, and the way you need to write it. So I think it's a wonderful form, and I'm very thankful that Lucy has introduced it to us.
Well, Ms. Brinkman, we're also very thankful for you connecting with us today. I'm afraid that's all the time we have today, and we look forward to many more creative works being sent out there to the moon. So thank you very much again for connecting with us.
Thank you, Ms. Brinkman.
Thank you.
And thank you, Walter, as always. We're going to see you back here soon.
See you soon.
Thank you for spending the past half an hour with us on the Culture Wave, and please join us again tomorrow on Thursday at 2 p.m. Korea time, and maybe one day here in Korea.